Hello, Flosstube. Welcome to my channel. My name is Patricia Ball, and I'm Stitcher Trish. And I just came to you today to share a little bit of my stitching. This is Flosstube number 1 for me. So jumping in with 2 feet into the Flosstube pool because I love watching all of you folks out there in your great stitching. So it has inspired me to share what few things I'm working on with you all. I live in North Carolina in a little town outside of Winston-Salem called Pfafftown. It is spelled P-F-A-F-F-T-O-W-N, and yes, Pfafftown really does exist. My husband Stephen and I live out here, and we work at West Forsyth High School, which is one of our local high schools. I'm a high school band director in my day job, and he is an exceptional children's teacher's assistant. We just love where we are and welcome you to North Carolina in our home. So a little bit of history and a little bit of backstory. I have been a cross stitcher most of my life. I started stitching when I was 7 or 8 years old. Went over a friend's house for a sleepover, and her mom was a cross stitcher. And a lot of us were interested in it, so she got out, ate a fabric and thread and floss and taught all of us to stitch. And it kind of stuck with me. I took it home, and my mom was gracious enough to go get my own supplies, and I've done a few projects here and there all through my life, growing up, small things that kids do, dogs and cats and kits from back in the 80s, and put it down for a few years through college and in early adulthood and all that sort of stuff, and picked it back up a couple of years ago and really got into all of the new things that have come on the market since then, and all the great fabrics and the great flosses and wonderful designs and things. So there's a little bit of my backstory. I'll get into some of the whips that I'm working on, my works in progress. The first one I'm going to show you is part of I'm joining in a couple of SALs, hashtags. The first one is hashtag diversity and inclusion SAL, and the other one is hashtag representation matters SAL. And this is the piece I'm using for that. This is Cross Stitch Nation from Heartstring Samplery, and I am doing this on a 36 count linen. This is from Fortnight Fabrics. This is the fabric of the month for June. It's entitled Morel, after the mushroom. I'm using the call for flosses on this, and my plan is to change all of the people across the bottom. I'm to the point of doing people. Changing all the people across the bottom and changing skin tones and hair colors, and actually changing the gender identity of at least one of the females on there to an additional male stitcher. So great piece. I'm enjoying doing this. I think I worked on it 2 or so days this past week. So it's going away for a little while so I can work on something else. And lives in my beautiful little bag here. Set it here. The next piece that I'm currently working on, this is what I worked on yesterday, is from this ancient book from 1980 from 3 Needles, which was, believe it or not, a North Carolina company to the best I've been able to figure out. But it has a lot of patterns in it from the campus at NC State University, or things related to NC State University. My brother is an alum, and so that I'm working on this for him to hang in his home. And it's on a piece of 18 count Ada that I coffee tea dyed myself. I didn't get a lot of modeling in this one, but this is the Memorial Tower, it's the bell tower on campus. So I've gotten some of the trees in. I'm going to try to finish up, because this is basically a full coverage spot right here. Finish this up, and then probably put this one away for a few days. I work on pieces on Ada when I don't have to focus as much, just because I tend to not screw up counting threads that way. So this one's, it's a lot of fun to do, and I think he'll enjoy it, add to his home. And then the next piece I am working on is entitled Dragons of Sumatra by Ink Circles. I love this piece. This is on a piece of 40 count linen, done by Hand Dyed Happiness, which you can find her on Etsy. She is a North Carolina dyer. She doesn't live very far from me at all, in Pinnacle, North Carolina. But it's called Ancient is the colorway, and it's got a lot of great modeling, and I wanted this to look like it was on parchment. But The silks I'm using are from Silks For You out of Australia, and this is the first piece I've ever done with silk, and it's just beautiful. Love working with the silk. It pulls so easy and it lays so well, and I'm doing it one strand, so 40 count 1/2. Just great piece and lots of fun to work on. So, and my dragons live in this cute little bag with my music notes all over it. my treble clefs all over it. My bags. I'm also make bags. The next piece I'm working on is Crosses of the Kingdom from Rosewood Manor. That's what the whole entire piece looks like. I have just finished page 1, and this is page 1. I am using, whoops, I got it turned wrong, my bad. I'm using DMC 310 on it for the black, and then the gold is the Petite Treasure Braid gold, and this is a 40 count eider weave, I can't remember it right now off the top of my head, but it's a legacy linen. It's a 40 count legacy linen, so it's 1/2. Really great piece, and it's kind of Quaker in style. Doing this for my Stephen. Stephen has a background in Christian education, former pastor, so this will adorn the walls of our office one day perhaps. So it's a beautiful piece, and the Petite Treasure Braid is a little bit of a challenge because it's pretty thick on this. It's 36. I said 40. I think it's a 36. Pretty thick, but I use a little bit of wax and can get it to lay pretty well and not struggle with it too awful much. Okay, and those are all of the things I have in rotation right now. I do not have a huge whip list. I just keep to 4 or 5 projects at a time because my brain can't manage more than that. I'd like to share with you a couple of recent finishes that I've had lately. This one is You're So Awesome. It's been in several magazines as an Emma Congdon design, Stitchrovia. And I found this in Cross Stitch Crazy magazine. I have the digital version from, I think it was June 2019, but it's been in a couple different magazines, and you can find it if you Google her out there. I did it with the Call for Flosses, and the fabric is a 32 count Jobelin from Hand Dyed Happiness, and this colorway is called Smoke. Great modeling on it. This is a Christmas present for someone, so I will frame it myself, I expect. That was a lot of fun to work on. I love doing the narwhal because narwhals are great. It looks like a mythical creature, but it's really not, which is so much fun. And speaking of mythical creatures, or are they not? This next piece, I spent about a year working on this one. And this is the Crescent Moon Dragon from Joan Elliott. It's the Call for Flosses, again, a Joan Elliott. I got this from a book that had wizards and dragons in it. Lots and lots of beads on it, which you think was going to be overwhelming to get the beads put on, but it really wasn't. It wasn't that bad at all. The body was a little overwhelming when I was working on it. I thought I was never going to get all the green put in there. And then it's got Chronic in it to create the scales and a lot of shine. It's got a great amount of shine to it that I hope shows up in the camera. It may not. This is on a 32 count Jobelin from Pole Stitches out of the UK, and I've had the fabric for 2 to 3 years. I don't remember what the colorway was, and I didn't write it down. So anyway, Crescent Moon Dragon. She is gorgeous. I had a lot of fun working on her. A lot of fun. It's going to the framers when the framers all open back up. I'm not framing this one. It's way too much work for my framing abilities. Stash. I do not have a huge amount of stash, and I don't purchase a huge amount of stash just because, again, I get overwhelmed if there's too many things in the fire because I feel like I need to be working on all of them at once. So I have to keep it limited so I don't burn myself out or go absolutely crazy. But I do have some pieces of fabric that I've recently acquired because it's summertime and I have a little bit of time to shop. This is my first piece of Silk Weaver fabric, and it is a 36 count. It's called Toasted Almond, and I got this from from her on her Facebook page. So great piece. It's not got a lot of modeling. It's a big piece, so I think I can get 2 or 3 projects out of this one. Beautifully serged, and when I cut it, I will serge it myself, because you see my awesome serger that my wonderful husband got me for Christmas that I've thoroughly enjoyed. This next piece is another hand-dyed happiness piece. This is a 32 Lugana, and the colorway on this one, let's see, I have to read it. Oh, it's called Gingery, and it is very gingery. Great modeling, front and back. Hope that's showing up on video. Beautiful piece. It just smells so good. All of her fabrics always have this wonderful scent to them. Last but not least is my fabric of the month from Fortnights. This just came out a couple of days ago. I got it. And Fortnite Fabrics, fabric of the month, and it's got great modeling. It's a lot of depth of color. This is the June fabric of the month. Now, let me mispronounce this for you. Verdigris agagic or agagic, something along that line. But mushrooms. I'm in the neutrals club, and they're all named after mushrooms. This is, again, just beautiful fabric. Smells fantastic. Really, really nice fabrics. I have not purchased flosses as of late, so I don't have any floss to show you. Haven't even purchased any DMC lately. I've not kitted up anything. All of my fabrics live in my awesome sugar skull bag. I love sugar skulls. They're one of my favorite designs out there. So my plans coming up are to keep working on my projects in rotation. As far as coming to you with Flosstube videos, I'm not going to put myself on a schedule, just simply because I have time right now to do a lot of crafting and a lot of fun things. But when school goes back in, I have no idea how much time I'm going to have. Normally in the fall we have marching band, and our group is competitive, along with doing football games. So we 60, 70 hours a week at work. We just don't know what the fall is going to look like yet. North Carolina hasn't made a decision, so we're just kind of in the holding pattern at the moment. But even if we're online, I won't have the time to record. So I'm not going to put myself on a schedule. When I have things to show off, I'll jump on here and do a recording. Like I said, I'm going to work on the bell tower one for a little bit, and I think that'll go away, and then just kind of depends on what I feel like working on. Probably the crosses, because I haven't worked on crosses in a good week, so I'll pull those out and get to them. Flosstube things, I'm going to kind of do a few shout outs. I didn't find Flosstube until about a year ago. I really didn't use YouTube too much, except for looking up things to share at school, or ideas to use for lesson plans. Then I was working on a piece that had a lot of beading on it. I had never done beading, so I went on YouTube looking for a video tutorial on how to bead cross stitch, and came across some tutorials, but in the link on my main page, it started giving me floss tubes, and so one of the first ones that I came across was the Sunshine Stitchers. So you three inspired me to really get into the floss tube and start watching the things that other people are doing, and I so much enjoy your videos every week, Sunshine Stitchers. You just make me smile. Some other folks that I watch are Pam and Steph at Just Keep Stitching. I'll watch Derek and Christian with Married with Stitches, the guys at Fortnite Fabrics. A couple of new folks that I have come across that I really, really are enjoying. Marissa McCartney at the Crafty Heifer. If you haven't seen her yet, she's wonderful. She also does a lot of diamond painting, which I've never experienced, never done it, but it's really neat to see how that craft works as well. Another new floss tuber is Dizzy Stitcher Darren, who lives in Australia. He does great full coverage pieces, really intricate, and lots of them that he has in rotation, so it's really cool to see those evolve from week to week and the things that he gets accomplished. Plus it's just neat to hear from folks around the world. So those are a couple of shout outs of floss tubers that I enjoy watching, and I appreciate all that you all share. Another thing that Stephen and I do is we're crafters. I'm a musician, he's a musician, so we enjoy making things. He has been a jewelry artist for a long time and has done beautiful pieces. Of course, I always have on a pair of his earrings, but he does beautiful, beautiful work. And we have kind of incorporated our talents together, my sewing and his jewelry artistry, and we make things that go with needlework. I do bags, and he does scissors, fobs, and needleminders. And we have put together a company on Etsy called Foreverusneedleraft. We'd love for you to visit our Etsy shop, and we're going to take a moment. I'm just going to show you a few of the things that we've done lately. Lucked into some of the simplicity fabric that Joanne's had, and I mean, they had like a yard left on the bolt, and I managed to get hold of some. And so I have a few the simplicity bags. The nostalgia of the bags is really cool. Stephen does the zipper pulls for me, and inside is a screaming yellow that kind of mimics the yellow outfit of the front. And I really like dragonflies. I think they're really neat creatures. So I have a dragonfly bag with this awesome stripe on the inside. And then the zipper pull has a couple of dragonflies on it. So Stephen made those for me. And then my nostalgic baseball player. I guess actually this is baseball. I was a ball player once upon a time. So, and then inside this is just blue. Just a dark blue. And summer lemons with a really great lemonade swirl inside. I love this inside fabric. So, just a few of the bags that I make, and then also working on some vinyl fronts because I've made several for myself. I'm gonna make some to get out there and with the stitcher world. I just enjoy sewing, and that's why we I did more bags than I needed, so we decided to market them. And Stephen also, with his jewelry work, does great zipper pulls. So here's a really pretty one. And he does a lobster claw clasp on them. And his beadwork, it's all hand done. And let's see, really neat. There's one of them. And let's see, there's the owl one. I think this one is super, super cute because it's got this adorable little owl on there. Okay. And they're real stone. And I can't remember the name of the stone, and I didn't write them down. But they're real stone. And then he has some with crosses. Lots and lots and lots of beautiful scissors fobs. And needle minders. And he got into needle minders because I wanted needle minders, and he found some great pins and started making needle minders for me, and now we have too many, so we got them on our Etsy store. This one's so cute. It's Taco Cat. Taco Cat is adorable. It's a big thing among the high school kids, the Taco Cat. This one I love because the whole skull thing, but it's a great, great skull. And he uses rare earth magnets. They're very strong magnets. And puts a pull on them, so they work great. I have a ton of them that are that I use. I change about every day depending on how I feel. So we'd love for you to visit us at our Etsy store, Foreverusneedleraft. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and going on my Flosstube journey with me. I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel and come back and join me again down the road. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time today. Take care. Bye-bye.